The house always felt quieter in the late evening, just after sunset. The hallway lights dimmed to a soft amber glow, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. Ian sat on the living room couch, pretending to scroll through his phone, but his ears were tuned to the soft patter of water behind the bathroom door. Every night, after his stepdad's post-workout shower, something stirred in him, an ache he hadn't quite known how to name until recently. He had lived with Mark for just over a year now. His mum had married him late. Mark was older, broad-shouldered and kind-eyed, with a deep voice that never needed to be loud. Ian never thought he'd feel anything for the man who stepped into their lives with such calm strength, but months of quiet glances and subtle tension had changed that. And now, alone in the house, he couldn't ignore it anymore. The bathroom door creaked open. Steam billowed out first, curling into the hallway like a ghost. Mark stepped out, towel wrapped low around his waist, water clinging to his chest and arms like beads of glass. Ian's breath caught. Mark hadn't noticed him yet. He was rubbing another towel through his wet hair as he walked toward the kitchen, completely unaware that Ian was sitting there, frozen with nerves and longing. "Hey," Mark said casually when he finally saw him, flashing a tired smile. "Didn't hear you come in." "I've been here," Ian replied, voice softer than usual. "Just thinking." Mark paused, leaning against the wall, arms folded. "Something on your mind?" Ian looked up at him, eyes lingering a second too long. He wanted to say no. But something inside him cracked, the months of holding back, the aching dreams, the guilt, the confusion, it all gathered behind his ribs and pushed. "Yeah," he said, standing slowly. "You." Mark blinked. "Me." Ian walked toward him, heart racing. "I think about you a lot. More than I should." The silence that followed wasn't cold, it was stunned, heavy, searching. Mark looked down at him, his eyes shifting with something unreadable. Not anger. Not dismissal. Just surprise. And curiosity. "Ian," he said carefully, "you're my stepdad," Ian interrupted. "Not my father. Not really. You never tried to be." Mark's breath caught. "Still, this is wrong," Ian finished. "Then tell me to stop." Mark didn't say anything. So Ian stepped closer, close enough to smell the warmth of soap on Mark's skin, to feel the heat radiating from his body. His hand trembled as he reached up, gently cupping Mark's jaw, eyes flickering to his lips. "Tell me to stop," he whispered again. Still, nothing. And then, he leaned in. Their lips met, not with force, but with years of unspoken ache. Mark didn't pull away. Instead, his breath hitched, and something gave way in him. A hand slipped around Ian's waist, tentative, then firm. The towel around Mark's neck fell to the floor first, unnoticed. The kiss deepened. They lingered there, pressed together under the hallway light, as if time had slipped sideways. Ian melted into him, his smaller frame folding easily against Mark's hard chest. He felt safe, seen, needed. And then, with a quiet shift, the towel around Mark's waist loosened and slipped to the ground. Neither of them broke the kiss. Ian's breath hitched, but his eyes stayed closed. It wasn't about the body, though he felt its presence like heat. It was about surrender, his, and surprisingly, Mark's too. He felt it in the way Mark kissed him, not with dominance or restraint, but with hesitant hunger. As if this moment belonged to both of them equally. Mark pulled away just slightly, their foreheads resting together. "I didn't think," he began, voice husky. "I know," Ian whispered. "I didn't either. Not like this. But I need it. Not just the kiss, just you." Mark's fingers brushed through Ian's hair, still damp from his earlier walk in the rain. "This isn't something I planned," he said slowly, "but I'd be lying if I said I haven't wondered." Ian let out a shaky laugh. "Really? I notice things. The way you look at me. The way you talk to me differently than your mum. She's not here anymore, Ian. And I've been lonely too." The words hung in the air like a confession neither of them knew how to make until now. "I don't want this to be just a moment," Ian whispered. "I don't want to regret it." Mark's hand slid down, brushing his jaw, his thumb gently resting near the corner of his mouth. "Then let's not rush it. Let's start with this," he murmured, and leaned in again. This kiss was slower, deeper. Not desperate. Just real. The hallway felt warmer. The shadows gentler. The vulnerability between them softened into something beautiful, two lonely souls, years apart, but equal in longing. The kiss didn't lead to anything more that night. Mark bent down, picked up the towel, and wrapped it back around himself, his eyes never leaving Ion's. "Come sit with me," he said. They curled on the couch, side by side, not speaking for a while. Just resting. Just being. Ion leaned into Mark's chest, fingers lightly tracing invisible lines on his skin. "I'm scared," Ion admitted after a while. "That this will end. That you'll wake up and push me away." Mark kissed the top of his head. "I'm scared too. But I'm not going anywhere." And in that stillness, something sacred began to grow. Not just desire, but the beginning of something neither of them had dared to believe was possible.